hope you're doing okay. What a beautiful day it is today. Have we all been out doing our daily mile yet? Or our daily walk? Getting some fresh air and seeing the sunshine and having a look at some beautiful flowers that's outside. I got up and did Joe Wick's PE yesterday. My legs are still aching. Didn't do that today. I've been out for a big long walk this morning with my little boy, who's not so little now. He's bigger than me. And I saw Ellen and Logan on my walk at the weekend in Hollybank Park. It was lovely to see you guys, wasn't it? What a nice surprise. They were paddling in the little stream while they were on their walk with their daddy. It was lovely to see you. So I hope some more of you are getting out and about as well. Has anybody noticed anything different about where I am today, where I normally sit? Can anybody see anything different that we normally have in preschool? Or can you hear it? That's right, I've got our clock here, haven't I? Did you notice? Can you hear it ticking? That's our clock from preschool, isn't it? I thought I would bring that home and put that on our wall so that when I'm telling you stories and I'm doing some work, you can see it. Okay? And then today, I thought we could have another puppet story time because I know you like these. So today, I thought we could have the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Let me see if I've got everybody. Let's get them all out. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived with her mummy in a little cottage on the edge of a large forest. The mummy had made her daughter a beautiful red cloak. You can see she's got it on. And it had a hood. And everybody called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day the mummy said to Little Red Riding Hood, "Your grandma is not feeling very well. Here is a basket of food that I have made to take to her. Stay on the path to her cottage and make sure you don't talk to any strangers." Little Red Riding Hood was a good little girl who always did as she was told by her mummy. "Of course I will, mummy. Goodbye." And off Little Red Riding Hood set off. She'd done the journey many, many times before. It was a lovely sunny day, just like today. And Little Red Riding Hood sang to herself as she walked along the path. La 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 la. La 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 la. She did not see a big grey wolf watching her from behind a tree. Suddenly, the big grey wolf jumped out in front of her. Little Red Riding Hood was very frightened, but the wolf smiled at her, so that made her feel better. "Where are you going, little girl?" said the big grey wolf in a friendly voice. "I'm going to see my grandma because she's not very well and I'm taking her a basket of food," said Little Red Riding Hood, who was feeling a little bit frightened. "Why don't you pick her some of these beautiful flowers? I'm sure they would cheer her up," said the big grey wolf. Little Red Riding Hood thought this was a good idea, as she knew that her grandma would enjoy looking at some beautiful flowers. She began to pick some flowers and tried not to notice the wolf sneak away in the direction of her grandmother's cottage. When she had picked a large bunch of flowers, she carried on walking along the path. La 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 la. The big grey wolf soon found the grandmother's cottage, and through the window he could see her sitting up in bed. He knocked on the door. "Come in, my dear," said the grandmother in a tiny, weak voice. The hungry wolf opened the door and crept inside. The grandmother knew something was wrong and she quickly jumped out of bed and she hid in the large wardrobe. "I will deal with her later," said the wolf. He knew that Little Red Riding Hood would soon be arriving. He put on a nightie and bed cap and he sat in the grandma's bed. Soon Little Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. "Come in, my dear," said the wolf in a voice that he hoped sounded just like her grandma. Little Red Riding Hood opened the door and walked to her grandmother's bed. "I've brought you some food and some beautiful flowers," said Little Red Riding Hood, who by now had noticed that her grandma was looking a little bit strange. "Gosh, Grandma, what big eyes you have," the crafty wolf said. "All the better to see you with, my dear." By now, Little Red Riding Hood was beginning to feel a little bit more frightened. "Gosh, Grandmother, what big ears you have," said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," said the wolf. "Gosh, Grandmother, what big teeth you have," said Little Red Riding Hood in a very, very scared voice, and she was shaking by now. "All the better to gobble you up with," said the wolf, and he chased after Little Red Riding Hood all over the place. Little Red Riding Hood screamed so loudly that a woodcutter who was working in the forest came running in, and he killed the wolf with his axe. "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you," said Little Red Riding Hood. And then they heard a little voice saying, "Let me out, let me out, let me out." Came a tiny, weak voice from the wardrobe. The woodcutter opened the wardrobe and helped Grandma out and back into bed. Little Red Riding Hood made her a lovely cup of tea, and the woodcutter dragged the wolf outside. Soon the grandmother was feeling much better, and never again would that big bad wolf come and bother them. Oh, phew, thank goodness for that. Little Red Riding Hood got very scared then, didn't she? Now then, if you're telling this story at home, you could think about some other adventures for Little Red Riding Hood to get up to, couldn't you? With her grandmother, if her grandmother was well enough and they got out of bed, what other adventures might Little Red Riding Hood do with her grandma? Or think of some adventures for the big bad wolf, things he might get up to before he met Little Red Riding Hood. Was he always a big bad wolf, or did he used to be a nice kind wolf? You could think about some stories like that, or you could do a nice picture of Little Red Riding Hood or the wolf, couldn't you? Yeah? I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye.